Hello, welcome to Livin La Vida Lockdown, the online comedy chat show hosted by me, Rob Mulholland. How are you doing? Are you well? You can't talk to me, so I'm going to assume you are. These intros have been getting worse day by day. Every day I try and say something different and they're just fucking... I've got nothing else to say to these fucking people. But luckily, I've got some guests who I'm dead excited to talk to. Awesome lineup today. Some of my favourite people. Well excited for this one. Right next to me here, we've got Ray Bradshaw. Hello, mate. How you doing?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Yeah, not bad, man. Good to see you. And down in this corner, we've got Angela Barnes.
Hello.
Hello,
it's
mate.
like a fucked up Brady bunch, this, isn't it?
It proper is. It's got a very much Celebrity Squares feel to it. Yeah. Like, it's totally the vibe I'm going for. And down below me, Bobby Mair. How you doing, mate?
Oh, great. How are you?
I'm all right, man. I'm in a good one today. Like, I don't know about anyone else's lockdown experience, but mine has been very much peaks and troughs. It's been... I'll have about 4 days of like, the future's going to be amazing after this, and this is good time to like take stock and refresh and do all the things I said I was going to do. And then I have 3 days of just staring out a window, just like, I just want to do an open mic.
It's so funny. So many men I've spoken to have realised that there's more than two emotions. It's like, I thought it was just hungry and horny, but there's more, it turns out.
Yeah, sometimes you can be angry and horny at the same time.
That's the best one, I find.
No, like I'm a very sensitive soul underneath it all, Ange. I would say I've read a lot of poetry in my time, so I'm not adverse to a bit of the maudling. But,
yeah.
What makes it go back up then? So see the days that are going shit. What makes you jump back up?
No idea, man. It feels random. It's just like I just have waves of it. Like yeah, I don't know. Like just some days I do, some days I don't. Like it's just I'm not. I don't know. I need the release of like getting out and doing shit.
I just like to say, this is what being a woman's like, right? You get that? I mean, I'm the divide, but that's what a cycle of a month is like. Some days, brilliant. Some days, I'm going to kill myself. Other days, I'm going to kill you. Just I really love it. The men are now like, oh, I get it. I get the mood swings now.
Yeah,
see, I've got an 8-month-old baby, so I have no emotions anymore. Like, it's just, let's get through this. And at the end, we can all go swimming. Yeah, that's the main aim.
Like, let's find out where you guys are at. What's your situation like? Bobby, where are you at the moment? What's your lockdown?
I'm in my house with my wife. Today I went golfing, and it was the first time we've been apart for 2 months.
How was it?
That was golfing was great. Just to not feel like you're constantly doing something wrong just by existing was amazing. Just 2 hours.
Me what sport Bobby Mair does, it would take me a year before I guessed golfing.
Yeah. I love golf. I golfed every day as a teenager. I was obsessed with it, and then I discovered comedy and became obsessed with comedy. I'm a much worse golfer than I am a comedian, hopefully. But
you've not dedicated yourself to golfing quite the same way.
I did for 3 years, but then quit.
I'm just amazed you owned a collared shirt.
Yeah, what do you wear when you go golfing, Bobby?
Today, this course I'm a member of, it's also on a common, so you have to wear a red shirt so that the people walking on the common know you're a golfer, so you don't hit them in the face with a golf ball. But one of my proudest...
So you're just out in a field, essentially.
One of my proudest moments was hitting a pregnant woman in the back with a golf ball. Let me explain. I was
in a sock.
Yeah.
No, it was the club championship at my club when I was like 15, and I was paired with 3 bullies, one of whom is now in the NHL. The other one probably works in the factory, and the third one seemed like he was going to be a professional golfer. And I lost touch because I hate him. But then an old friend got in touch with, you heard what he's up to. Turns out this guy didn't practice enough and now runs a driving range and for money shows his feet to men on the internet while they jerk off. And it made me, Brad Henderson, it made me so happy. I came harder than any of the men he shows his feet to when I found this out. It's amazing. He failed at his dream and now he's an internet whore. And he was really like... He really, every day, like just calling me a faggot, pushing me around, very homophobic. Turns out, golf didn't work out. And now, because of how homophobic it was, God has punished him by making him watch men masturbate every day.
It's an ultimate punishment for a homophobe. It's
but
pretty good.
Can we
and
go
a
back?
golfer.
Can we go back to the question? What do you wear when you go golfing?
a red shirt. And these, I wear these.
Oh yeah, that.
Oh yeah.
But I wear those anyways. I love them.
Yeah, that's the fucking juice right there. that was. I'll be honest, right? Like, I did not expect that question of where are you right now to go in quite that direction from me. Fucking loved it. Like, it's so nice to talk to people who like to hear my voice. I haven't had this where every time I speak, it's not an assault on their ears and interrupting what they wish they could be doing that they're not doing. Yeah, like.
Have you got that thing yet where because I'm locked down with my other half, and it's like our breathing is annoying each other.
Oh yeah.
And it's that sort of, do you have to breathe like that?
Yeah, yeah. Because Ray, you're with your wife as well, aren't you? Wife and kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're all with partners, all of us actually. Yeah, we're all locked down with partners, so we're all having that thing of it's a lot of time to spend with one person, no matter how much you love them. Like, my girlfriend's amazing. Yeah. We really get on. We have a lot of fun. But fuck me, like, I went and saw a mate to stand apart from each other in a park yesterday, and I came home and she was like, "You're so chipper, it's like you've had an affair."
Yeah.
See, we're not allowed out yet.
Oh,
of course,
Scottish rules, aren't you?
Yeah.
You can't be trusted with booze after 10 p.m. To be fair, you can't be trusted with going outside.
Which brings me to the question: what the fuck are you all doing this for? Why are you not out and doing things? At least I've got a reason.
I think I've definitely developed agoraphobia with this.
Really?
Like, I'm walking my dog once a day, and that's it. And I'm quite happy with that. I might go and stand at the bottom of my mum's garden tomorrow to say hello because I feel guilty. But apart from that,
yeah, like, I just feel like, we're allowed, but like, I still don't want to take the piss with it. I don't want to be like, doing fucking conga lines and shit. Like, I still don't think it's done. I don't think that's
exactly. I don't think there's nothing's happened between last week and this week where coronavirus isn't gone now. So I'm not really changing my.
Yeah, I'm still staying on the plan of, like, go out as little as possible and shit, and like go out where, do what, like, all the things I like to do are fucking closed. So like, I'll stay here and talk to comedians. It's fine.
I am loving lockdown. Like, obviously coronavirus is shit, but the lockdown.
We'll put that little proviso on it. Yeah.
Little
Everyone's
caveat there. Yeah, people
isn't
are
ideal.
dying. Bad stuff, right? But the lockdown itself, for someone like me who's, I have sort of clinical FOMO. Like, I'm convinced in my head that all the time I'm at home, normally, everyone else is out having a good time together and they just haven't invited me. Whereas this has completely eliminated that. It's like, what's everyone else up to? I know what they're up to, the same as me. Brilliant.
The best part of quarantine, by far, what it's given me is what sports people have had forever, which is something to talk about with every random fucking loser. Amazing. It's amazing. I can call my dad and have a 15-minute succinct conversation with no pauses now, thanks to this virus.
Yes.
I can talk to a guy on the street. I golfed with a guy today who's in property. The virus brings people together conversationally. It's incredible.
It is true. You can have a natter with anyone in the supermarket. You are right. It's what I used to do with football. Like, that's my go-to. I don't know this person. I ask them if they support a football team. If they say yes, we're fucking golden. Like, we can have that combo. But now it's just like, don't you miss licking door handles?
Of one of my favourite, Phil Gerrard, the comedian Phil Gerrard.
Yeah,
he has that lovely bit because he's not a football fan, and that sort of thing of when people ask who you support, it's really awkward as a bloke to go, well, actually, I don't. He says, so now I just say Palestine, which I think is just...
They've got a team now. They've got a team.
Yeah, I bought one of their shirts online recently.
Oh, nice, man. So, mate, that's such a slick football hipster social justice warrior bit of virtue signalling.
But the best thing is, one of the guys that plays in our football team is from Palestine, so he was like, if you buy this is good. So it is quite hipster, but also it makes me look trendier, which is something I kind of need because I don't have an luminous sign that says fuck off in my house.
Yeah.
Mate, it's amazing what you can get off eBay. That's what I'm saying with that.
How much do you pay for that?
40 quid. Worth every penny.
Off. No, not at all.
Worth every penny.
Agile, what are your wee miniatures behind you?
Where are we looking? There.
So Angela, see where Angela?
Angela.
Is?
Oh yeah.
There's like mini whiskey miniatures. Yeah, there's that bar area, obviously here.
Nice.
But I've got a bit of an obsession with nuclear bunkers, which you might be able to tell from my wall.
Oh yeah.
But the two little miniatures of whiskey there. It's from a nuclear bunker in Dundee who are distilling their own whiskey. So that's what those miniatures are from.
Love that.
Wow.
That's not what you expected to hear, was it?
No, not at all. But I was intrigued.
Yeah.
So this is why you're loving lockdown, isn't it? You were just prepared for the apocalypse.
Mate, I was born to hunker down. Born for it. This is heaven.
You're just like, yeah, right, okay, it's go time. Did you have like a code word ready for like lockdown? It's code green, guys, code green.
Well, I could only be happier if this flat was made of concrete. That's the only thing that would love it.
Mate.
Even my engagement ring's concrete. Look at that.
Oh, nice.
Genuinely a concrete engagement ring. Oh,
mate, I would take any material above the fucking thin papier-mâché that separates me from my neighbours in this Manchester terrace house. It's brutal. Like, that has definitely been like. Have you guys got an outdoor bit? Have you got anywhere like Bobby? You're in London,
I've got a little
aren't
balcony. That's it.
Yeah. Well, we live in a house. We live in a house with a garden. We split it with Harriet's brother and his fiance, so they're downstairs and we're upstairs. It's perfect.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Oh, nice.
And we have a garden, but we haven't done it up yet, so it's just a mud pit. It's a mud pit with some cement. It looks like something you'd see in like a movie where a bunch of people get shot in a drive-by, and it's a bit grim, but it's ours, you know.
Yeah.
And I will sit in a chair. I'll sit in a chair there for a couple hours and just exist.
Yeah, man.
It's good.
Yeah, I've got a little concrete yard. I couldn't give a fuck as long as you got somewhere outdoors to be.
We don't have anything.
Oh shit!
So we are top floor, like tenement flat. So we've got like a concrete bit, shared bit out the back, but it's where the bins go. That's all it is. But our next door neighbours in the flat next door to us have got like tables and a fire pit now, and we've got a WhatsApp group for all our flat, and we're just getting messages all the time like, I fucking hate them next door. Like we've got a proper rivalry against them now.
Look, they've got like a more pimp lockdown than you.
Yeah, because they're nicer.
Oh man,
That's all
I'm definitely winning lockdown on my street. There is a lot of families down here, and I can hear the kids next door not having a good time a lot of the time, and I'm sat here childless, smoking weed all day, having a fucking right time.
I've never felt more vindicated about my decision not to have children.
I just wish
under lockdown.
I wish lockdown had happened like 2 years ago, like before I had a kid, because I like having a kid. He's a good laugh, but I would have liked to have watched box sets all the time and just done fuck all and get takeaways all the time and not have to worry about.
I have a friend who just had a baby when lockdown started, which I think is perfect. Because you'd be in lockdown
anyway. Yeah, it's true.
Like, it's all the same. You're spending 3 months inside no matter what. And now society's just lined up with you that you don't have to take time off work.
I was thinking, like, imagine if you got house arrest just as this happened. Like, you got put on house arrest, like, the moment lockdown happens. Like, Freddie Quinne got a driving ban just, like, 2 weeks before this. So that's fucking beautiful. So he's riding this out. Yeah. This is the Louis C.K. punishment. This is what Louis got for his transgressions. He got 10 months inside, just in his flat, thinking about himself. Yeah, I've only ever masturbated in consensual situations. Why am I being punished?
That's what I'm saying. It's not fair.
Yeah, it is. It's unreal, man. I haven't lost quite as much money as he did, but I also don't have as much money as he did. So you know,
we won't get a Netflix special at the end of this.
No. Well, you know, I've got a YouTube special.
Yeah, that's the same.
Yeah.
You're laughing, but at least you don't fucking look like him. That's the awkward point of it.
This is a red-headed. Did you do this on purpose?
I didn't make this such a ginger podcast.
I didn't realize. Yeah,
it was a complete accident because, like, and also you can't see my head hair, which is brown. You can only see my quite ginger beard. So yeah, like my family are like, the reason I'm so pale is like half of my family are Scottish and the other half are ginger. It's like not even the Scots that are ginger. It's all the Yorkshire people that are ginger as fuck. So yeah, like this is, this will be a rare thing in the future. This will never exist. You know, but I'll have to capture this as a moment in time when you could have this many gingers together.
I don't know how to tell you this, Rob, but this is not my natural hair colour. Just
strike me down with a feather. What is your natural hair colour, Ange?
Well, now grey, but it was dark brown. Yeah. I started because I thought under lockdown, I might grow it out and see what I look like. And I got quite far, and then it was like, oh, what you look like is fucking old. Stop doing that. So Yeah.
Like I've had to like shave the beard right back so I can do it myself, and like you got to make sacrifices right now. There's like some wild looks. People are trying to. The worst ones are people who are trying to hold on to like spiky hair at the moment. It's it's 2 inches too long. You've got to fucking let that go. Let it flop back, lads.
Yeah,
poor Matt, my fellow. I had to shave my dog's asshole with his beard clippers the other day, which. So I've got
were you doing like a photo shoot with your dog or something? Like, why did you need to shave its arsehole?
She's a cockapoo. She's got a poodle coat, and they don't shed. And it was just getting. I don't want to be too graphic, but you know, if you've got a very hairy bum and you're pooing, and someone's got to pick it, like it was messy.
the shit's getting caught in her asshole.
Exactly.
Hair.
Yeah. So
thanks for breaking it down for us, Bobby.
Cheers, Bobby.
That's what's happening, and then it's gross because they're just spreading shit everywhere.
That's it.
And they wipe their ass on everything, so you just have a shitty house.
Yeah.
That's right, like little skid marks everywhere. So I phoned the groomer and I was like, "How best to deal with this?" She said, "Have you got any clippers?" And I was like, well, "I've got my boyfriend's beard trimmers." She went, "That'll do. Just
Did you ask Matt about this before you did it?
I did, and he hasn't shaved his beard since.
Yeah,
of course it's surprised.
I've like disinfected.
Okay, well, I think
there'll always be her bum clippers now.
It's only fair that you buy him a new set on Amazon or something, you know.
It's his dog too.
Yeah, but it's
his face.
Yeah, you're gonna have to deal with this fucking like castaway beard he's gonna develop now. Like, I'll tell you what, like there is no disinfectant in the world that would make me use those clippers again now. Like, you gotta go under your nose. You've got to like
lovely.
Yeah. The smell.
It goes like, you know, when you're in like trimming the corner here and it gets a bit in your mouth. No chance I'm doing that with arse clippers. Get out.
That's horrific.
I'll buy him some new ones.
Good. I think he deserves it for that. Like, so is your dog's ass all right now?
It's fine now. Yeah, it's all sliding out normally. It's fine. Just one like cigar, you know, one pickup, easy job done.
Well, it's good to know you're picking up some new skills in lockdown. Anyway, like, have you guys done any of that? Have you like started learning anything or like improving yourself at all? Because like, if anything, I've got worse.
No.
I've learned to crochet.
Oh, hello.
Ooh.
Yeah.
How is that
I've
different to knitting? I don't get what crocheting is, really.
So in knitting, you have 2 needles,
mm-hmm.
and with crochet, you have 1 hook. And so you sort of use your hands more in crochet, and it's hard. I don't know, but crochet is easier in that it grows quicker. So I've made some shit, but
I downloaded an app to learn Chinese, and then I haven't used it.
Why did you choose Chinese?
Well, I figured if there's a war in a couple years, then I can be a translator. You know, you got to have diversifiable skills.
That's true. Yeah, like How do you get on? What Chinese do you know?
No, that's the thing. I tried for a day, but turns out learning an Asian language very difficult. And then I downloaded StarCraft, which I used to play in high school, and I've decided that I will communicate through StarCraft.
I've definitely done that thing of like picking up computer games that I used to like. Like I was absolutely delighted to learn that they're re-releasing Tony Hawk's 1 and 2 as a package. Like they've remastered them because I've been playing those games because I am a 31-year-old man who looks like this. I've played some fucking Tony Hawk's in my time, so like I've downloaded them on my PC and the muscle memory has come back. Like I'm going to be slamming out 2 million point combos like I'm at uni again.
I don't know what you're saying. It's just words.
Do you guys play any computer games?
Matt does. I've never owned a console. I've only ever played 2 games in my life. One was Sims and one was Portal. Which
Portal's
Portal
great,
I loved.
man. Great
I played Portal 1, Portal 2, and I was like, I've done video games.
I've completed video games. That's me. I don't need anything else.
The problem is, I know what I'm like. I'm such a procrastinator that I'm scared of getting into it because if I do, then my career's over. I won't get anything done ever.
Yeah, I was like that. I with Football Manager, I would only ever play when I was on public transport. Right. That was my rule. So I went, but then I found myself not driving to gigs anymore. Just getting the train all the time. And then I was like, well, this is pointless. I'm losing money.
Yeah, I had to stop playing Football Manager after when I was about 19. I played for like 16 hours straight, and I kicked my laptop when Leeds got knocked out of the Champions League semi-final. And I was like, I think I'm taking this too far. So I've never played it since then, but like I'm the same. I don't really play them normally because I'm too addictive, and I know I'll lose days to them. So whilst this has been going on, though, I've trapped myself. I'm just like, fuck it, go for it. If I'm going to spend 8 hours on a game, good. That's 8 hours of lockdown gone, innit?
I know Matt's been downloading lots of old like Atari games and things, and like Frogger and stuff like that.
We all just
like,
want to play the game
nostalgic.
that we played when we were 18. That's the thing.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
We all just,
Oh wait, so I hit a pregnant lady in the back with a golf ball. That's what I was saying.
We didn't finish that story.
So, anyways, I'm golfing with these.
I really hope someone's just logged onto YouTube and then this is the first thing they see.
So I'm golfing with these 3 absolute assholes who just like throw my clubs out of my bag, push me around. They're just horrible people. And we get to the 9th hole and they say, just hit the ball. And there are these people about, 240 yards away. And I say, well, I'm not going to hit. I could hit them. And they're like, you're not going to hit them. You couldn't hit the ball that far, you fucking loser. So I square up to this ball and I fucking smoked it. And I creamed this pregnant lady right in the back. And I felt amazing. I yelled 4 and it felt so good.
I love how if you remember back to when you started this story, Bobby just said it wasn't my fault and then went to
yeah, no, he
They
wasn't
made
actively
me
trying.
hit it. They threatened me with mental violence if I didn't hit the ball, so I had to hit the ball.
So you've threatened this pregnant lady with physical violence.
Yeah, well,
threatened and carried out.
well, yeah, she was all right. She walked it off. I mean,
You got
bigger
the
things
fucking
to worry
magic
about.
sponge.
Look,
She's
you
going to
can
be in more pain in the next few months. After
exactly.
That, to be fair.
She had bigger things to worry about.
Yeah.
Did you win the golf?
No, they were so much better than me. That was the thing. They were better than me. And I'm a good golfer, but I crack under pressure. Like I was never good. Comedy pressure I've always been good with, but golf pressure, that's why I knew I could never be a golfer, because if people were watching, I'd get nervous and underperform. So it wasn't my sport. And I really...
Just imagine the hole is a pregnant lady next time you're playing.
I will. The other people from that foursome, one of them is now in the NHL, and his brother's like one of the best hockey players. And then but I wish none of them well.
That's it, man. Have you had anyone I've had this a couple of times in lockdown. A couple of people from my way distant past have clearly been like dead bored and have just like hit me up. And like a couple of them has been like, oh, cool. Like, nice to hear from you, person I haven't seen since I was 8. But a few of them have been like, I didn't like you when I was 10. Like, why would I like? Why would I give a fuck now? Like, it's really weird. I know you're bored and I'm entertaining, but fucking watch my YouTube channel, you cunt. Fuck off.
You do get that sometimes. The people like, oh, we went to school together. It's like, well, we went to the same school, but you never spoke to me, or you.
Or when we did, you were a
sort of
cunt.
Facebook, exactly. Those like Facebook friend requests. So I never spoke to you. I've never. Yeah, happens a lot.
Yeah,
I've not had anyone try to tap me up in that time, which I'm quite glad about.
Yeah.
Maybe they just think I'm a dick. I don't know. It's an easier way of thinking about it.
It's a possibility. Like, I've known you a while and I think it. So, like, why wouldn't anyone
Well,
else?
I was going to bring this up, Rob Mulholland.
Oh, right. What brilliant. What we're bringing up.
Oh,
the fact that you think I'm your comedy curse.
Yes. Right. You know how everyone has one comedian who, when they're on the bill, you're going to die on your hoop? Like, Ray has been at some of my worst ever gigs. Like, honestly, in my top 5 gigs, like, of worst of all time, I think Ray's been at 3 of them.
What one's Preston the Frog? What's the other one?
Preston the Frog. I love that you didn't even have to think on that one. You were just like the Preston Frog.
If that wasn't one of your worst gigs, Rob, you should probably put it in the list.
Preston was the one where you sat. It was 26. My favourite one was the Manchester Frog.
Yeah, Manchester Frog was another one where I was
emceeing the Frog and I walked on. First section was great. Have the break. Second section, I'd do 5-10 minutes. It's going great. Rob walks on, and there's this football team of like 20 guys, and they literally decide they don't like Rob. They split up and start heckling him from different parts of the room.
I like that.
Oh, mate,
it was brilliant.
Brutal.
And Rob died a day. And then, can you remember what you finished with?
I think, right, if I remember correctly, I might not be verbatim here, but I think what I said was enjoy your night. Apart from you, pointing to the football team. I hope when you have your next game, your clubhouse burns down with you inside it. Go fuck yourselves, and then walked off.
That was pretty much it. And then I had to walk back on and get the room back up, and then. They were wanting to kick his head in, so he had to hide upstairs in the frog for like 2 hours.
Yeah, I had to be bundled out with security and shit because they were waiting for me outside. During my set, one of them had a bottle in his hand and was just going, "I'm gonna fucking wait for you outside." I was like, "Is anyone gonna do anything about this?"
And then Steve Sherniaski turned up and fucking smashed it.
They just didn't like me. It was really weird. It all kicked off a minute after an applause break as well. I was like, I don't think I had the best gig, but I wasn't. I didn't think it was that bad until that popped off. But that one got real bad. That one got spicy. The Preston one was when it was at the Guildhall. And it's this really, really big venue. It's
in a shopping centre.
Essentially, yeah. It's closed down now, and I was delighted because this was a real lesson for me. Quite early on, it was right after my first Edinburgh, and I was way too cocky because I just had a good Edinburgh doing late night shows, and I did a way too dark joke on a Friday night in Preston, and they just hated me for it and didn't forgive me, and I did that early, a minute in. And it got to the point where people wouldn't look at me. They were just having their own conversations and wouldn't meet my eye. And I come off and it's one of those where it's oh, this fucking crowd shit. Blah, blah, blah. Tom Wrigglesworth goes on after me and just fucking leveled the place. Leveled it. It was one of those sets where you just watch it, it's people are fucking hurting laughing. And I'm watching it I think it might have been me.
I remember you came off and you just looked at me and I went, well, that wasn't good or something like that. And you were like, I appreciate your honesty. Most people wouldn't say that. But I was like, well, they couldn't not after that. It was fucking dreadful.
Man, it was real bad. It was real bad. That is the worst gig I have ever had. Honestly, and at one point, someone, because where you had to sit as well, it wasn't there wasn't a hidden area for the comedians. You just sort of next to the stage, but there's a little rope barrier separating us from the crowd. So people would come over and one person came over and was like, excuse me to me. And I'm trying to ignore them. And then someone else spoke to them and went, Rob, this person wants to speak to you. And I'm like, I don't want to. And they go, oh no, we just want to get a photo with you, mate. And I was like, oh really? Oh, okay. I go over and they go, yeah, you look loads like my friend. Brilliant. Brilliant.
I once did a gig in Bournemouth. This was years ago now. It's a gig that's not there anymore. I can't remember what it was called. Anyway, it doesn't matter. And they didn't have an MC at this gig, so it was one of those where someone just introduced you to the stage, and I was opening, and it was full of, and I was really, this is really early on for me. I was really green, and it was full of stag do's, and there was no security in there at all. And I got on stage, and there was maybe out of an audience of 200, there was maybe 6 people at the front trying to enjoy comedy. And the rest were just having their own parties, And I was just trying my best. And then this pissed up bloke, these blokes were really heckling me, and it was really just get your toots out and all, And this
all the clever ones.
All the really clever ones. They'd really thought about it, bless them. And this one bloke just came up on the stage, and no one came to my rescue. No one. And I was like, do you know what? I'm not getting paid enough for this. In fact, I said that. And I was about 8 minutes into a 20, and I went, I'm not getting paid enough for this. And I just put the mic in the stand and went off, and the green room was on a mezzanine, and I went up there, and I can't remember, I think it was Richard Morton and someone else for the other acts on the bill, and they were because I was shaking, I was so angry, I was properly shaking, because this guy had come on stage and was trying to manhandle me.
Yeah, that's when it's way past the line.
The bar staff were all just pretending it's not happening, and there's no security or anything. So they were you're right. I was I'm really angry. And then because it was just a mezzanine and there was nothing separating us from the punt, a load of the punters were coming up to sort of see if I was all right. And I was and then at one point, somebody just pressed what I thought was a little message into my hand, a little note or something. And I was anyway, I came out, I just want to go home now. I came out, when I looked in my hand, it was a £20 note. Somebody felt that bad.
Right.
The gig I just had, they just gave me a 20.
That's so quality. Getting tipped for dying on your ass. I'll fucking take that shit.
So I was how sorry for it. They must think, God, she's so shit, she can't possibly afford to eat. I better give her some money.
I did a gig once, and Rob was on. and I got there, and it was in I think Bournemouth.
This was also in Bournemouth. Yeah.
Bournemouth.
Yeah.
At Hotel Celebrity, and
I know that gig. Yeah.
I got there, and there's a weird vibe, and it turns out Rob had made a joke about how he wished he was gay. There was a context, and then a man in the audience thought he was being homophobic, so he threatened to stab Rob, and then called the hotel and said him and his 8 of his friends were going to come and kill Rob.
Yeah, because these were this guy was a local traveller.
Oh.
Right. So
he hated homophobia.
Fair play. He was standing up for homophobia.
Yeah, this was what was so weird, right? So the context of this is I'm on stage, I'm opening. Bobby hasn't yet arrived, right? I'm opening, no. Bobby's going to be closing. He's not there yet, so I'm just on, right? And it was my opening bit for ages. In fact, it's the opening bit on my special, Too Big to Fail, so you can watch it and see how unhomophobic it is.
Nice plug.
Thank you very much.
I was just going to say that was smooth.
Mate, I'm always fucking hustling. But yeah, it's just a bit about how it's not the brightest bit of stand up in the world. Some jokes I wish I was gay, and there's one bit where I say all gay men are disgusting. Every single gay man is a disgusting piece of shit because they're all men. Right, and it's a joke about men. It's not about gay men, and everyone gets that always, except for this one dude, right? And I didn't even know that was what had annoyed him, because I'm off into the next bit, and he's standing up, and it's just on his own, and it's kicking off, and I said something to him, and then it goes back and forth, and he's like, "I'm gonna fucking stab you in the car park," and all this shit. Some big guys drag him out, and I'm like, "Who's with him?" And no one was, and this guy was on his own. So it turns out, he's a traveller who's got a gay brother. So obviously this is a very sore topic for him, and culturally it's a very difficult topic for travellers, I think. So he's so overprotective because he loves his brother. It's genuinely quite beautiful if it wasn't for the fact he was
overshot, hasn't he?
Exactly. It was kind of in a way sweet that he was going to murder me, but I did have to have a police escort, and when the police arrived, they escorted me to my car and were like, "You need to leave Bournemouth now." But yeah, when Bobby arrived, he was like, "What's going on?" I tell him the story. He goes, "I've done this 3 times. Don't worry about it." Rob.
Oh yeah, I've been attacked more times than I can remember. At least 10 times people have tried to attack me.
What were you wearing when this happened?
I don't know what I was wearing. One time I was on stage. This is in Canada, and I dropped a glass, and I said, "Oh, I should say something clever about that," but I'm not going to. And then I did a joke about a call center I had worked at. Really clever, great joke that I wrote 15 years ago. And then a man started walking towards the stage, but the toilets were located near the stage also. So I thought he was just going there. And then he just slowly walked on the stage and started punching me in the face. And I thought, well, this doesn't seem right. So he's just punching me in the face. The audience just sits there and watches him punch me in the face. And he was smaller than me. But I was so surprised I was being punched in the face. I was like, why am I being punched in the face? And then I see one of my friends start walking toward the stage, who's a pretty big guy. And I thought, okay, he's going to stop him. So I thought, I'm only going to have to hit, maybe 5 or 6 more punches. And so I turned my head, which was a mistake, because then he started punching me in the neck. And you never think about neck punches, but they really hurt. The neck is not a good place to be punched. And the temple, very dangerous. So anyways, the guy pulled him off. He ran away. The cops didn't get him. Turns out he used to work at a call center, and he was offended that I had insulted call centers, much like Rob's man with the gay brother. He was defending the honor of call centers and decided to attack me.
I'd say that's weirder than protecting your gay brother.
You can't be call center phobic in this day and age.
He loved call centers. He did not like me saying they were boring to work at.
Wow, what a controversial opinion.
The weirdest part of that story is the fact that at no point did you think to stop him fighting. You saw your mate coming and calculated how many more punches you needed to take.
It's like, all right, someone will deal with this in a minute. I'll just...
That's amazing.
Yeah. I've never actually been successfully punched on stage, but I've had a couple of people try. Yeah, I think I say things that make people want to punch me quite often.
I've never that. I'm quite. Maybe I'm too much of a shite bag or something.
Well, I don't know, because you can be cutting on stage. I think your persona's generally nicer than mine, but you can be quite cutting if you want to be, can't you?
Yeah, but I think it's never happened. I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm fat. They just think that'll take too many punches to knock him down.
Yeah, in England, we're all scared of your accent as well.
So, yeah, I was going to say, I think it's more if you're south of the border, it's more your voice that's putting them off than anything else.
I'll take that.
Yeah, because like if you like know Scottish accents, well, yours is actually it's very pleasant, non-threatening. You've got quite a gentle accent, but like in England we're like.
Have you ever gigged with Gary Little?
Yeah, I know Gary. Yeah.
So Gary, 6'2", massive guy, was in the jail.
6'2" is not that massive. Like,
no, but when you see him,
yeah.
So Gary and I were in Australia together, and we grew up 2.5 miles apart, but no one could understand his accent the whole time he was there. And he did this big rant about why can't anyone fucking understand me? I come from the same place as Ray, all this kind of stuff. And then the best heckle ever, someone went, I didn't get that, mate. And then he just fucking just walked off. Beautiful
that's fucking beautiful, man. Like there are moments when they get it right, but like I'm not one to encourage hecklers. I tell us stories of them doing well. Fuck them all.
Hey
fuck
guys,
every one of them. Yeah. Yes.
I have to go because our wife Harriet has an online meeting and our Wi-Fi cannot support 2 Zoom calls.
That is absolutely fine, mate. Mate,
I've really enjoyed this more than I could let you know. I would love to do it again anytime. Thank you very much.
Absolutely welcome. Before you go, plug your stuff, mate. Tell people about you. The other two, if you want to hang around for a bit, we'll just carry on.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. But like, tell people about yourself, mate. Tell them where you can find you and watch your stuff.
Oh, he's gone.
All right, it's at Bobby Mair.
Oh no, he's back.
Oh, he's here.
Hello.
Oh, yeah,
you can find me on Twitter, you can find me on Facebook, you can find me on Instagram. I post very rarely and terribly on all those platforms. Hopefully if I tweet, I lose followers. If I retweet, I gain followers. I might retweet you if you follow me. That's what I can give you,
Bobby. Thanks for coming on. I'll definitely do another one, mate. And we'll get Harriet on as well. We're good to see you, man.
Great.
Thanks for coming on.
Love to Harriet.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.
Right, is he going? Where's he? Right, we'll wait for him to get off this
Before we start talking about him.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There we go.
He's going.
Cannot get past the fact that Bobby Mair plays golf.
I know that is so weird, isn't it?
I never would.
Never would have guessed. Never would have guessed.
Mentally, I was thinking what sports I thought he would have played. Number 1, parkour, and then just working my way down.
Yeah. Skateboard, sure.
Street hockey, maybe.
Right.
Yeah.
What sports can you play living on a rubbish dump? All right, there we go. I've got that. There we go. Cool. Right, I had to change the screen, but I've made it look pretty again. So there we go. Right.
What were we talking about just before that?
I have literally no idea, mate. My memory doesn't work, and
we were talking about being beaten up at gigs or not being beaten up at gigs.
I can't remember what it was. Doesn't matter.
I don't know. Did you get any fights at school?
I got punched once, but in a case of mistaken identity.
All right.
In that I had a boyfriend who had a brother who was a year or two older than him, but they looked like twins. They really looked alike. And his older brother was a bit of a slag. And Shay used to
no slut shaming on this platform. We encourage sluttiness of all kinds.
I didn't say it was a bad thing.
Yeah, that's true. There wasn't any judgment in that.
Yeah, no judgment in that at all. But I was just walking through town one day and this girl out of nowhere just came and punched me in the face. And I was sort of really taken aback. And they said, that's for Ajish. And I was like, what? And then I realised that she'd seen me with my boyfriend and thought she'd seen me with his brother, who she was having a thing with.
Right.
But yeah, she was gone before I could explain the case.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I just had a big swollen cheek.
Yeah.
And I was such a girly swat. I'd never been in a.
I couldn't imagine you were much of a scrapper.
Oh.
God, no. I was so upset, and it was so. I didn't do anything.
Oh, that's horrible. I've had quite a few random attacks. In my hometown, always just in my hometown in North Yorkshire, right? Never in cities. But in my hometown, because it's quite a drinky northern working,
What is your hometown?
It's called Knaresborough, right? So now it's right next to Harrogate, so it's really gentrified a lot.
Okay.
So the town's really beautiful, but it has a real, like, still remnants of its old drinking culture. Like, it used to be in the Guinness Book of Records for most pubs per population, right? On a Friday, Saturday night is mental around town. It's like little market town. Everyone just gets pissed and fucking fights all the time. So, yeah, it would always be like some guy trying to look hard in front of his mates by hitting the tall guy. But, like, I'm not like a hard tall guy. I'm not like a big dude. I'm just lanky. So, like, it's like, yeah. But yeah, I've had that loads of times.
Like that. And I used to say when I was growing up as a teenager, so I'm from Maidstone in Kent, which is quite known for being, it's sort of, it's working class Tory land, right? So it's known for, you know what I'm saying. It's sort of got a UKIP smell about it. And it's like growing up there as a teenager, I always felt safer as a woman walking about at night, I think, than any of my male friends did, because they would just randomly get their heads kicked in.
Yeah.
You know, and it's exactly that
random small town aggression
and that sort of. I mean, Maidstone. There was about 10 years ago now, maybe a bit more. There was a survey of comedians asking which towns they hate playing more than anything. And Maidstone came third. Right,
Kent can be rough. I've had some rough gigs in Kent.
Oh, Kent's disaster. But I just thought it was really funny. You've got all these big cities, but Maidstone made it third in that. I think Liverpool was first, and then I can't remember what was second. But
like, hot water has turned that round a bit, but like Liverpool is brutal. Like it can be in some gigs.
Like, once at Comedy Central, I was the only non-Scouser, and it was.
I've been the only Englishman. I've been the only Englishman at Glasgow Jongleurs. Yeah, man, it was exactly as good as you would have expected, man. That people did not enjoy me. I was on with like, who was on with? I was on with like Janie Godley and Joe Heenan and like just great
Scottish comics.
Great Scottish comics and like just killers. And like, so they're like, you know, and obviously like the jongleurs, like they're just doing like stuff like there's local references. I have no idea and everyone's fucking dying. I was comparing, man. I couldn't understand half the people. Honestly, it's brutal. Like, and like, I'm not even trying to be a cunt and I know loads of Scottish people, but they were hammered and they were speaking to other Glaswegians all night. So they weren't like, the accent wasn't even tempered
filtering
at all.
To you.
No, I was getting the full, both barrels, working class Glaswegian drunk at me quickly from a distance. And I'm constantly having to go, what did you say? And like, it's just, I'm trying to build a bond with them and they hate me.
There's nothing worse than doing that on the Friday, then having to go back on the Saturday and do it all over again. It's fucking brutal.
Oh, man, yeah. And like, MCing's the worst one. Like, if you have a tough time MCing, that's the worst I've ever had MCing. Most of the time, it's all right. Because even if it's not great for you, you can just get energy and point them in the right direction and still do your job.
When they hate you, having to keep going back on that stage is so hard.
Just looking ahead and going, I've got to do that twice more. Like, normally, at least when you get off, you get to your mate. Your mates laugh at you in the green room. You know, the other comics go, ha, 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 ha. And you go, yeah. And then it's all right, isn't it? And like, but like when you're comparing, you've got to go, yeah, I've got to go try again.
Angela, you've toured, haven't you?
I have,
So how do you find it? See, when you've got a tour show that doesn't go that well, how does that feel? Because I've been in that situation, so I'm interested. How was it for you?
It's when a tour show's hard work. It's hard work because you're just like, but you're my people. Like you've bought a ticket knowing this was me.
You've chosen this show.
Because in a comedy club, at least you can tell yourself, well, I'm just not their cup of tea.
Exactly. If I'm in like Middle England and it's a lot of pensioners and I'm swearing at them, they're not going to enjoy that. But if it's people who
when they bought a ticket
for you,
so I've let them down. I've not been me somehow. I think sometimes I do get a lot of, because I do a lot of Radio 4. I think sometimes I get quite a Radio 4 crowd, and I think sometimes I can be a bit because I'm not rude or particularly dark or anything like that.
No, but you're a comedian.
How I am on the news. You know, I've got a potty mouth and I might talk about things that I wouldn't talk about on Radio 4.
Exactly. Yeah.
You can sometimes, and I always do a little joke about that at the top, about, if I know she was going to be like this, Jeffrey, I'd never have bought the tickets. But sometimes if you just look out and you just see a sea of what are obviously Radio 4 listeners, and you can go, oh God, I hope you're going to get on board with this. And most of them do, but sometimes you'll be like, oh yeah, no, they think they've made a mistake.
But like those are my favourite audience members though, when they get right. Like those old poshos, when they get into it, they're fucking great.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I like having an older audience. People go, oh God, they're really old, and it wasn't. I'm like, mate, they lived for a war or straight after. They're fucking
good.
They're fine.
Old audiences are the best in the world, but like bad old audiences are just posh ones who don't like swearing, because like I swear loads and like I just talk about jizz all the time. I'm not for them. It's fine.
So when I did the sign language show, I did one of my tour dates. So everything was the first 40 minutes of my show was pre-recorded.
Anyone who hasn't seen, by the way, Ray did a tour show which was in English and sign language at the same time.
Yeah, so I signed it also. My mum and dad were deaf, so I signed it also. So I toured all around the UK, but I remember one I did in Peebles, which is in the Scottish borders, and it was this big theatre. And I messaged a couple of people who'd done it, and they were like, "It's fucking brutal." But they were like, our numbers were so bad. So I sold it out. So I was fucking buzzing. And I get down, and the first 20 minutes is all audio recording, and I sign along to it. And the second 20 minutes is like a video screen, and I'm my own interpreter. So I do stand up, but I'm interpreting myself. Within 5 minutes of the audio thing, so 5 minutes into an 80-minute show, bear in mind the next 35 minutes is pre-recorded, I did a wanking joke. There was no laughing, and I heard someone audibly tut. And I was like, oh, for fuck's sake. And I can't, because if it was a normal gig, I would have gone, right, okay, I'll change this, and just make it nicer.
Because you think on the fly, don't you? Yeah. In a normal gig.
I had to stick to the 35 minutes of pre-recording, and it was fucking so... I got home that night and drank so many beers, like just trying to take it away.
Right,
Is it like being an open spot again? You know, like when you've got your first 10 minutes, you're doing a 10-minute slot. It's like, well, they're not going for this, but I've literally got fuck all else. So they're just...
I had one a couple of years ago in Shrewsbury where I did a preview of a show that was very narrative-y, and I had to just do the whole thing because it always the whole. And it was, it was mainly focused around the story of me accidentally going to a brothel. It's called Popular Comedian Rob Mulholland. It's on Next Up. Always hustling. It was right. It was not. I had to follow Alan Cochrane in Shrewsbury to an incredibly middle-class audience, and it's fair to say if they did not enjoy the content. There's a joke about 10 minutes in where I mime using the microphone as a baby, shaking it to death. For a point, there's a context to it, and it's a very funny bit that I stand by, but they didn't enjoy it. And like after 45 minutes, right, I stopped the show by going, you know what? I think I've bored and upset you for long enough, right? Wasn't Alan good earlier? What was weird with this one? Right, I went outside, and afterwards, I overheard this. I walked past this woman like talking to a couple of guys, and she was just like, the problem was he just didn't read his audience properly. And I just went, see you later, and she just fucking melted. It was brilliant.
But then, I love that when you.
Then this is what got even madder. Right, fast forward a year, my car broke down by setting on fire. Right, it just spontaneously combusts as I'm driving out of Birmingham. I ditch it in a like building site that still has some guys on it at like midnight. They come out to like help me. One of them goes, "Are you a comedian?" I go, "Yeah." "Have you seen me somewhere?" And he goes, "Yeah, Shrewsbury last year."
No.
There was 16 people in that room. 16, right? And then one of his mates goes, "Oh, is he funny?" And he goes, "He thinks I'm shit, but he's wrong." So I had to stand there and watch my car burn while I was defending my comedic integrity to these two. It was madness,
defending your career.
Yeah, exactly, man. Yeah.
See, when we were talking about Lancaster, I did a preview. The first Edinburgh show I did was all about dares, so you could dare me to whatever you wanted. So I did all these kind of like went on a date with Scotland's oldest woman and all these kind of things. I previewed in Lancaster. And I ran under about like 15 minutes, and I really struggled, and it was brutal.
That room can be hard when it's hard.
Yeah. And then Rob Rouse is who I was previewing with, and I came off, and Rob was like, "You didn't explain the context." So I'd forgot the whole talking about what my show was actually about.
Oh shit! So you just started telling the dares.
Yeah. So I was just like, I went on a date with Scotland's oldest women, and then just kept on talking, and then I was like, oh, they all think I'm a fucking sociopath. Yeah. That's why.
It's like when you do a callback and then you've forgotten to do the first bit. Why are they laughing? This is the best bit of the show. It's like, oh, fuck. I forgot to do the first bit.
Or it's worse when you do a double and you can't remember if you've done the first bit of the callback.
Because then you've just got to do it. You've got to leap into it, haven't you? You're there going, in about 5 minutes. I hope I set that up.
Oh man,
we've all had it, like especially like Edinburgh when you've done like 6 shows in a day and you've no idea what you're even fucking saying anymore. And like I've had it where I was because we get this weird separation of like what we're doing and what we're thinking when we're on stage. Like stage brain sort of splits, doesn't it? So like you can be thinking of other stuff whilst you're still going.
Yeah, it's so weird.
Because you're sort of reading the room, aren't you? While the words are coming out, you're like going, they're not going to, if they don't like this one, they're not going to like that one. I'm going to change that thing.
But sometimes that gets distracted. So like I'll literally be thinking about my dinner. And then I'll have to like, I have you ever had this experience where I've had to listen to myself to work out what bit I was saying? Like honestly, I had to stop thinking for a second and just listen to what was coming out of my mouth to work out what bit I was saying. It's so weird. Such a weird experience to be listening to yourself and have no idea what you're saying or where it's coming from, because it's such muscle memory in a bit.
It's that same feeling as like when, you know, you just like, when I'm driving home from a gig sometimes and I'll be like, I'm on a different motorway to the one I think I'm on. I can't and I don't remember coming off it. It's that sort of...
My life is that 24/7. That's what ADHD is.
It's just autopilot, and then you just hope you can get away with it. That's all. It's mad. Have you done any Zoom gigs?
I did the COVID arms on Saturday.
Oh, how was it?
That was really fun. It was really fun. I was really nervous, but because you can't see any of the audience, so you're kind of doing it into the void, and it's sort of a delayed reaction. It's like I'll find out on Twitter afterwards whether I died on my arms.
Right. See,
I don't like 4,000 people watching.
Whoa, that's good viewership, like. But I don't like those ones where you can't see anyone. I'm not doing any more of those, to be honest with you. Like, I've done ones via Zoom, so like they work with like, you know, basically like I did the Troy Club, Andrew O'Neill's one. What's lovely with that is because it's a little club that has a regular audience, all the regulars were dead into it. So then they're all there and they're really great comedy audience and they love it. And then you can see people and you can hear them laugh. And then it feels a bit like doing comedy. It's not the same, obviously. But I felt a bit like a comedian again. You know, like I would say things and hear the laugh and I'd be like, oh, do more of that. And I would have that instinct. And like... that felt really good, and I loved that gig, actually. That one was fun. So, like, Zoom ones where I can see people and interact, I'm down for. But, like, just talking into the camera, that's a podcast. Like, I'll just I'll edit it and release a podcast. It's, you know.
Do you worry about, because I worry about how with every week it goes on, I'm sort of gradually getting de-skilled as a comedian, you know, like missing those sort of comedy chops. Because I feel like that, if I go on holiday for a fortnight and come back, you know, my first gig back, I'm like, what's a microphone?
Like after 3 days off stage, I feel rusty. Like I like being
it's momentum, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a muscle that you got to train and get sharp.
I do worry that like I'm thinking of starting when it all opens up again. I'm going to hold a comedy night and just call it Rusty as Fuck, and just have like the audience's sort of expectations.
The energy will be so sick. We won't need it. The energy will be so sick from audiences when we can finally do it again. And like, to be honest with you, I'm quite fine with everyone losing the muscle memory because it's happening to everyone at the same time, and I guarantee I'll pick it up quicker than a lot of cunts. Like, I'm going to come out of the gate swinging.
I'm in my mid-40s now, mate. I'm not as elastic as I used to be. I'm worried it just won't bounce back. You know what I mean?
No, because I'm going to be as soon as I am allowed, I will be at every open mic within fucking 300 miles. I will be... If you've got a fucking grandma who wants entertaining for half an hour, I will come shout stand up in her fucking face.
Are you one of those comics? You one of those that needs it? Like I need...
I need to be on stage. I need to be doing comedy. It drives me mad to not be doing it.
To live with, I mean, I love you, but you know,
I
can only imagine.
I can imagine he's a fucking nightmare to live with.
My girlfriend is a fucking saint.
I like the fact that if I do, usually I would gig maybe Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I would always keep the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday free so I can go play football or go for dinner with my wife or whatever, see my mates, because I think it's important to have that work-life balance. I wouldn't be able to do gigging every day.
And also you got to have shit to talk about. Like if you're gigging every night of the week, suddenly, and you're not living a normal life, then suddenly what you're talking about is... One of my bugbears is comedians going on stage and talking about gigs.
Oh, I hate that shit. Yeah. Like make something happen at this gig. Make something happen here.
Yeah, exactly. And it's and them talking about, I got this heckle. It's like, A, stop putting the idea of heckling in their fucking heads. And B, like, talk about stuff people can relate to. These people sat in front of you don't know what being heckled feels like, and they don't care. Yeah. You know?
Yeah, I'm totally with you.
It's a real bugbear of mine, that.
A funny thing happened at a gig. Well, good for you.
We've all done gigs.
Funny things should happen at gigs. They should be your set, and that's it. But that's why I think it's important to go and do things. It's important to go like to a museum or to whatever every now and then. Just so
I'll do that on the fucking day and then go bang out sets at night.
Yeah. I'm going to contradict myself by telling you something funny that happened at a gig though.
This is the place for it. This is the place for it. This isn't your fucking
I did
set.
my first Zoom gig on Saturday night. And Des McLean up in Scotland. It was me, Mickey Bartlett, and Rhea
Nice. That's a great lineup. I need to get Rhea on here, actually. I'm going to write that down. I've already had Mickey on here, but I need to get Rhea on.
Mickey shat the bed and only did about 8 minutes because he forgot how long 20 minutes was. He was smashing it. But so Des had done it. So it's like 60 punters of his regular gig. And they're all on screens. And one guy was in a hot tub. But Des gets like 5 or 10 of them to keep their mics on so you can hear the laughter.
Yeah.
And all we could hear was this guy's bubbles. So we asked him to switch his bubbles off. And then when I got on, his bubbles were like flat. And it just looked like I was gigging to one man in a birthing pool. And I was like, this is so fucking weird.
It is demoralising when you can see the cameras and you can see some people just like fucking off and making a cuppa. Or like you see some people just on the phones and that.
I did one on Tuesday in New York, and it was done like all the comics were on Zoom and all the people watching were on Twitch, so they were giving all the comments on Twitch. And the most demoralising thing is, because I was the only UK comic on, is watching North American comedians not give a fuck about your set on Zoom and just play on their phone the whole time. So I kept on trying to do the thing where you can just see yourself.
Yeah.
But someone moderating it kept on changing back, so all I could see were these people not give a fuck about my set.
I've had that.
It was brutal.
So
I've had that. I had one with a comedian mate of mine who's a great mate. Like, you know, like I don't feel bad for them doing this. I don't know if they could even realise that that was all I could see. But yeah, they're just there, like my camera on my fucking monitor underneath me. I'm trying to give it the fucking beans, and I can just see my mate just like.
Yeah.
Just, you know, you
turn your camera off if you're going to do that.
Just fucking turn it off. Yeah,
that's what I was doing.
Turn your camera off.
Yeah, turn the camera off. That's
it.
it.
At least do that.
That's what I always do when I'm doing them. I turn my camera off because I'm backstage, and then I go on. I turn it on, and then I go backstage. I might be watching, but I'm watching from backstage. You can't see me because I am a comedian, and my facial expression ain't going to match the audience.
I don't laugh at jokes anymore.
I don't want to laugh at the same time you do.
Looking at my face, yeah.
Exactly, and like, you know, and I don't like the pressure of having to be there like.
Yeah.
That's not how I watch comedy. I watch comedy like this, like.
No, well, I wouldn't have done it like that.
He's missed that. And like, I find it really funny when comedians are bad, and I can't be sat there on camera going. Whenever whenever my mate's dying on his ass, I can't be.
I think like me having a good gig is amazing. But one of my mates having a terrible gig is even more amazing.
This is why Ray loves me.
Yeah.
Nobody in a comedian's car share on the way to a gig on a long drive is talking about the gigs they rocked. Like, no one's doing that.
Cunter. If someone does that, I immediately lose so much respect for them. If a comedian starts telling me a story where the end of it is, you know what, actually, I turned it right round and I smashed it.
No, thanks.
Get out of here.
Get out. I've got the best. I think I hold one of the trump cards for dying on your ass at a gig.
Oh, yeah, fucking go for it. Like, sorry, that wasn't even the one before. This is your big gun story.
Oh, yeah, no, this is oh man, this is epic.
Mate, honestly, I will listen to stories of comics dying on their ass forever.
The only redeeming thing about this gig is that it gave me the final 10 minutes of my first Edinburgh show.
Worth it.
So I was really, really new, right? And I just got an agent, not the agent I'm with now, I hasten to add. And I just done my first bit of telly. I'd done Russell Howard's Good News. So I was getting a little bit of, you know, and doing circuit gigs, but really I was green as anything. And I've always been a bit like this. I was like a little teacher's pet at school. So when an agent tells me to do something, I'll do it, right? And it's only now I'm sort of at a point where if I was offered this now, what I was offered then, I would have said, fuck off.
Oh, I'm very different. I've always treated agents as admin staff, and that's why I've just gone through another one. I've just gone through another one. I've just fired another one last week. But yeah, like I think they need to know their fucking place. Fuck off. I don't
Well, this gig was so basically I'd won the BBC competition thing that was in 2011, and in 2012 they were sort of launching it again. So I did and it was on Radio 2 in those days. So I sort of ended up doing these little bits of stuff, like interviews and things for Radio 2 when they were launching the competition again. And every September, Radio 2 do a thing called Radio 2 Live in Hyde Park, right? Which is a big music.
Oh, God.
Big names, you know?
I don't like where this is going, Ange.
No.
I don't like where this is going.
Oh, mate. And it's so much worse than you think it is. So I get this phone call from my agent.
Outdoor death.
Mate, I get this phone call from my agent on the Wednesday, right? Saying Radio 2 have been on. They want you to do, they're doing their Live in Hyde Park Festival in a Day thing on Sunday. There's going to be a comedy stage, right? And they want you to come and do a set on that. And in my head, I'm like, great, lovely. I'll do that. Brilliant. Anyway, long story short, they send a car to come and pick me up, which at this stage,
I love that.
So I just remember this is when I should have known I should have gone home. I got a car and they like dropped me at the gates of Hyde Park, at which point I was met by a man in a golf buggy. He then drove me across Hyde Park, right? And these people who are obviously on their way to the gig, it's in the afternoon, kept running up to the golf car thing with their cameras and then looking at me and like going, oh no, I don't know who that is. Just walking up again, right?
Is that below my feet? What?
Oh, mate. So anyway, we get backstage to this thing and my agent was supposed to have come with me and texted me that morning, I don't feel very well, but you'll be all right. So I'm on my own backstage at this thing. And the lineup was, I remember the two headliners, they had joint headliners were Jessie J and Tom Jones, because it's when they both just started doing The Voice, right?
Right.
There was Status Quo, King Mick Hucknall, Emily Sandy, Paloma Faith was there.
So a real edgy crowd in this audience.
Like proper Radio 2 lineup, okay? So I get there and I was like, oh, can someone tell me where the comedy stage is? And they're like, what comedy stage? What are you talking about? Right. So at this point,
like, me and Ray both just got flashbacks then. Like,
oh, mate.
Just like, oh.
So the event starts at 3 p.m. and it's hosted by different Radio 2 DJs. So they were like, so what we want you to do is just do like 8 minutes, right? We'll get you on nice and early, like in the afternoon, and it'll be in a really chatty bit of the show. So it'll be when like Jeremy Vine or someone's hosting, you know, and then they'll set them up nicely, and then you'll come on and. Anyway, long story short.
Any other comics?
No other comics.
Oh. It's a solo
no other
mission.
Comics. Right. Now, at this point, what I should have done was gone, no. This is a terrible idea. But I was so green and it just didn't occur to me I could say no to these people. So I'm just there doing it. And I remember I phoned Mark Watson, right? Because he's a good friend. And I was like, Mark was in Australia. I remember that at the time and I phoned him. And he was like, no, you can't go out there. I was like, I have to go out there. I'm like literally back. I can't not go out there. And he's like, no, you have to go home. She's like, I can't go home. So anyway, long story short, they kept bumping me up and I ended up having to go on stage after Jessie J and before Tom Jones. Who were the two headliners?
So you headlined it.
So are you now on the main stage? Is this what we're saying?
I'm on the main stage.
How big is this event? Because it's got to be quite big.
I'll tell you now, it was 35,000 people. Right? 35,000 people. And it was live on Radio 2 and being streamed live on the BBC website, right? Millions of people watching. And genuinely, this is what happened next, okay? Simon Mayer was like doing the MC, if you like, the MCing bit.
Doing a bit of crowd work, was it?
I remember and I was like going to people, do you want me to go on? You want to go on now? I can remember Jeremy Vine was stood next to me with his daughter because his daughter was watching Jessie J, and he just put his hand on my shoulder and was like, good luck. Because like he's Tim Vine's brother, right? He got it that this was a lamb to the slaughter. And so Jessie J and her band all come off the stage, high-fiving each other. Simon Mayo goes on, right? Now, because it's live on the radio, he's got an auto cue. So he's just, bless him, he's just reading off what it says. And the first thing he says is like to the audience, are you all excited about Tom Jones? Right? They've had musicians all day. They've been waiting for Tom Jones. They go mental, like absolutely mental. And then he says, but first...
first is the most brutal intro you can get. Yeah. The but first is just, you're fucked. It doesn't matter what they've said, first, you're over. But if it's, are you excited for Tom Jones, but first...
this, and bearing in mind this point, like no one knows who I am, nobody. So I come onto the stage, right, to 35,000 people going to the bar, basically, is what happens, right? They're all like, Tom
I'll
Jones
have a
is on
piss
yet.
first,
Okay.
actually.
Yeah.
Oh, I've got time for a piss. Brilliant. You know, I can go take my knickers off, ready to throw at him. Brilliant. Just hold some time. And I literally just went out there. I think I got 6 minutes in and was like, I can't. When the chants
Decent.
of "We Want Tom" were just too much, like I couldn't.
Oh.
And the thing is, like, even if I'd been smashing it, which let's face it, was not an option.
Not
really.
no, no one can smash that.
No, Michael McIntyre couldn't have smashed that at
No.
that point. Do you know what I mean? That would have been.
No, that is an unturnable crowd. You couldn't even
So-
like Bill Burr in Philly it because that audience will be upset that you're rude. Like you've got
Right,
like you've got no
Oh yeah,
chance.
that's the other thing. I'd been told. Obviously, I wasn't allowed to swear or anything. It was Radio
Yeah,
2.
it was
it,
live,
Just
yeah.
after the whole Andrew Sachs thing. But also, they've been like, oh, and you're not allowed to mention Tom Jones by name. His people have been really clear about that. Which now, obviously, I'd be like, well, then I'm definitely going to do it. But at
Yeah.
that point,
Yeah.
I was like, oh.
So you can't
And-
mention the fact
Can
that
I
you're
ask-
opening for Tom Jones.
So I
You
couldn't
can't mention
even
that
go like-
context.
And Tom Jones's band start fucking tuning up behind me. So they're on the.
No.
I get. So at this point, and obviously the
You know,
audience, 35,000 people, they're not.
me
they're
and my
not mic'd.
boyfriend.
So even if they were laughing, like it wouldn't have been
Yeah,
picked
not
up on
anymore.
the radio anyway, you know. So I just remember, and I do you know what I actually said, and to anyone who knows anything about comedy, you know that thing that you say when you're dying, right, and you have to come on stage. I actually said, "You've got a great act coming up." I mean, I was talking about fucking Tom Jones. It's all right, guys, you've got a great act coming up.
Like it's fucking Steve Shanyaski coming down the line.
Yeah. Was it?
No offense to
Was-
Steve, who I'm going to have on this show, but you know.
Was the money worth it?
Do you know how much I got paid?
Oh no.
300 quid.
Oh no.
Fuck off.
To support Tom Jones to 35,000 people.
The funniest thing, I came off stage and I just, like, nobody could look me in the eye.
Oh,
Yeah.
bet.
No one could look me in the eye. And I went back to my...
That's
I
because
was
I
like,
wanted Tom Jones.
Mate, I'm listening to this story now. I can barely look you in the eye.
I got back and my phone was in the dressing room, right? And I just remember looking at my phone and my whole family had been watching online. But my brother, blessed, I just got this text from my brother that just went, well, at least you looked fitter than Jessie J did. That's the nicest thing you've ever said.
I had an absolute car crash TV interview,
Mate, like,
live TV interview, and I came off thinking, and it was a show that not many people watch, and I came back and my brother had texted me saying, why do you always bring shame in our family? And I was like, oh, okay, cool.
It was
Crazy.
I remember I went backstage and because I had like a runner who was sort of looking after me and he went, do you want some wine? I was like, I want all the wine. Get me a bucket of wine. He got me some wine.
Gallons, please.
And then they'd sort of said, oh, we can get you a car to take you home. But I just wanted to be out of there. And I had to go like through there was like a little VIP bar thing. So I sort of walked through that and the controller of Radio 2 came over and apologised.
Fair.
yeah.
Just went, we should never have put you in that position. I was like,
No.
no, you shouldn't.
That is unplayable. Like, you know, there's a thing that's certain, like, you know, a bit of advice that's sometimes given to like new comedians that, you know, it's never the audience's fault. Fuck off. Sometimes gigs are unplayable. Like, that's mental. I've been in loads
That
of
was
rooms
unplayable.
where like you can put who you fucking want in there. They are just savages.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I just wanted to get out of there. So I was like, do you know what? I don't want a car. Because I was living in Crystal Palace at the time. I was like, I just want to walk to Victoria Station from Hyde Park. I was like, I need to clear my head. Just want to walk and I'm going to get on a train and go home and think about what I've done, you know. And I remember walking through Hyde Park, hearing Tom Jones in the distance. It's like, not unusual. I'd just be like, oh. And I just remember getting on the train at Victoria to go back to Crystal Palace and I just wanted to say to everyone on the train, like, you'll never fucking believe where I was half hour ago.
So weird, that isn't it? Like going from like something like that to just being like back into normal life. Yeah, like from like Ray is just sort of, oh right, Ray's back on a different screen. Hello, right.
Got double Ray.
Yeah, I'll put that
It just chucked me out.
All right, well you're back. You doubled up. It's all right. You're back. Yeah. Christ.
I really enjoyed that story, Angela.
I was a fucking...
I thought you might. You see what I mean? I think I've got the trump card for dying
that is a 10 out of 10 shit gig story. Like, I have to say, like, I've heard some bad gigs. I have been in some bad gigs. Like, yeah,
and the two I've got.
That's top tier, mate. That's top tier.
My friend was in the audience. A friend I didn't know had just happened to have tickets for the thing and was in the audience and took a photo of me on the stage. And I'll have to the photo.
That's cool. Yeah.
So I'm like, I'll always have that. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And I do know what it's like to stand in front of 35,000 people and go, "Hello, Hyde Park."
Exactly. And like, you have that moment, and then like the bit afterwards, it sucks. But then fuck it, you leave, and then you're done.
Yeah.
I had when you were talking earlier, see when you only got like 10 minutes of material. When I was maybe 10, 11 months in, I maybe 10, 15 minutes of material max. And I got offered
when it's like
corporate.
That, like 5 minutes of it is ropey, and only
I got offered a corporate, and it was like 250 quid. And I'd never...
A year into comedy is a fucking fortune.
So it was on the day, it was a cancellation, and I turned up, and they wouldn't tell me what it was, and it was the Scottish Asian Retailer of the Year. And everyone in the room
Please tell me that you browned up.
No, but all I've got is material about being ginger at this point. And it's the most unrelatable
Can you relate,
shit
guys?
Oh, it was fucking horrific. But the
you
worst
know when
one I
you're
ever
really
did.
pale?
Yeah.
Because that's the thing. You think, like, generally speaking, in Scotland, half the audience is going to be with you, right? Yeah. Half the audience is going to relate, at least.
And I was on after the Scottish Rock cheerleaders, which is a basketball cheerleader. Oh, it was fucking dreadful. But the worst one easily was Dave Twentyman, who I've not seen in years.
Love Twentyman. Good lad. He's come up on this podcast a couple of times, actually. Yeah, I like that.
What's happened to him?
We did an outdoor festival in Lee. Like outside, like Wigan.
Oh man, I've had some rough gigs in Lee. It's a fucking rough town.
This one was, they were expecting like 1,000 people, and there were 17. And me and Twentyman were the comedy. So before us, there was a Robbie Williams impersonator. Then it was me and Dave, and then it was a Freddie Mercury impersonator, which, by the way, was the same guy, but he just put a tash on. And they wanted us to do it on the main stage, and we were like, not a chance, there's 17 people here. So they had like this beer gazebo. So me and Dave went down to do it there. But when we used the mic was going back to the speaker at the stage. So it was like you're getting heckled all the time. And I will never forget this. In this field, and I'm dying. I'm fucking dying. And I'm thinking, right, I'll do one of my big jokes. Let's get this out. And I do the start with the feed line. And when I go to do the punchline, a horse in the field behind just neighed really loudly. And then I was like, this is done, man. There's no way I'm getting back from the horse.
Man,
horrific.
Festivals are so brutal. Like, I love going to festivals, so I take festival gigs all the time. But the gig themselves, like, the actual gig is 9 times out of 10 dog shit. Because comedy's such an afterthought. They go, oh, we'll get all these bands. Oh, we'll have comedy as well. So you're always on some shit stage. Like, I did one where if it's a small festival as well and it's just an optional stage, no one is coming. Like, you know, if there's like one of those like 5,000 capacity festivals, did one of those where I saw the most harrowing death I've ever watched in person. Like, there was a one-liner comedian, right? So basically, we're in this tent and no one has turned up. So the compere like shouts some people in. I think it was Andy Fury. It was Andy Fury who was comparing, doing the best he possibly fucking could. Anyone could have done. Start shouting people to come in this tent. We just decide to, like, rather than having the mic on the stage, because there's some people just sort of in this little, like, you know, there's the bit where like the shop tents are. We're down at that bit of the festival, right? So like we're out of the way right out there. So we start shouting some people. There's some hay bales outside where some people are eating. So we just pull the mic to the edge of the tent so there's some people around and sort of begin. And Fury is doing his best, right? And like Fury's doing all right, you know, for the circumstances, he's doing really well. People are giggling a bit. He's being a bit cheeky with them. He lets them know there's going to be swearing by swearing a bit. And like, you know, so some families are leaving that. But like the audience becomes, I would say, 10 people, 2 of which are like little children. But Fury said cunt to them and the parent is fine. Right. But they're small children, like 5 or 6. And then it sort of like gets it going. 2 of the highest women I've ever seen in my fucking life wander in. Right, one of them is she's like maybe 40 in just a bikini covered in fluorescent paint. Right, she's just painted fluorescent. Her eyes are like bing this is like 3 PM. Her eyes are dish plates, right? She's like dancing away towards the stage, like she's having a fucking great time. Sort of wanders in and sits right down at Andy's feet. They have some like banter. It's funny because she's fucked, but she's all right. She's a little bit rowdy, but you know, he gets this act on right, and like I'll tell you afterwards who it is. But like, because I don't want to destroy. Honestly, he's doing one-liners and like punny one-liners, and right, it just like immediately people.
If you're committed to one-liners, you haven't got chat then, have you?
No chat, and like punny ones as well. It's not like these are like sharp jokes; it's puns.
I'm just trying to work out who it was.
I think I've got an idea.
Like, it's not like a. They're not like a. I don't think they're a pro act anyway.
Oh right, okay, maybe it's not what I think it is.
Flailing, and it's going so badly. Right, at one point there was this 2 like teenage girls, and one of them is pissing themselves. Like it was going so badly that the other teenage girl looked at her, jabbed her in the ribs, and she went, "Oh no, I'm just laughing at how shit he is." Right, and
Don't worry, I haven't got mad.
halfway through his set, the fucked woman in the bikini painted fluorescent just stood up and went, "Fuck this, I'm off to the rave tent," and just walked out. And he just had to go like back to like, I saw a penguin with it, and you know, mate,
have any of you ever done Bug Jam?
No, is that's the VW thing, isn't it?
So I didn't know what it was. I was needing to be in London for a weekend, so I got tied on. So it was a Friday, and the comedy tent was big, but I was emceeing. Adam Rowe was on closing, and the opening act I won't say because Rob didn't name it, so I don't want to name and shame. But
name and shame. Fuck it. I'll do mine if you do yours.
Yeah, easy. Francis Foster was the act on. Who was yours?
Mine was Jack Shannock. There we go.
I've never heard of him.
No. So Francis goes on, and he'll say by himself, he starts slagging off Brexit and all this kind of stuff, and the audience aren't into that at all. So he starts to struggle, and he is struggling, and then he goes, right, I'll talk about teaching. I used to teach this kid. He was called Andrew. He was the funniest kid I've ever met. And then someone heckled, went, "Get Andrew on." Right?
Don't ever say someone else is
which
funnier than
is
you.
a great heckle, but Francis just ploughed on, and he does another joke, nothing. Another joke, nothing. A third joke, nothing. And the same guy after the third joke just went, "Andrew." And fearfully, it came off, and then I got the train back to London with him, and we were both just like, "That's an incredible heckle to me." You can do with that.
Yeah,
it was so good. Perfect.
Man, I love Francis. We did an Edinburgh run together doing Triple A. You good mate, but like, that's a fucking brilliant story, man. That's fucking wonderful. Like, you know, if you're gonna heckle, make it that level. Come on,
it was great.
You know, play the fucking game.
That's the thing. Like 99.9% of the time, a heckle's shit, and actually, heckles are quite easy to deal with because they're really easy to show them up. When you get that brilliant, sometimes you just have to go, "Bravo."
If someone's funny, I'll just laugh at it. Like I got ruined at like the gig I ran in Manchester. Like so it's like, you know, a little like new material night. I would MC it every week, and spoke to a girl in the crowd, and I was like, "What do you do?" And she's like, "Oh, I'm an English student." I was like, "You're looking forward to being unemployed, right?" And she just looked at me and went, "I was here 2 weeks ago, and you said the exact same thing to me." Right, and the roof came off because it's like, you know, some regulars who know me and stuff, and they might have thought I've said that. I thought I was making it up on the spot, like honestly, and like I just had to laugh at that. I just had to take it. I was just like, I didn't have a comeback. I was just like, I went and shook her hand, and then like, you know, tried to do something else funny afterwards. It was just like, yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. You fucking got me there.
If somebody is genuinely funny when they heckle, if you then try and double down on them, you're going to look like the shitbag, right?
Yeah.
So like, that person's
You've got to
funny.
encourage fun.
Funny.
People forget that the comedian's job is to encourage fun. And like sometimes they come down, like when they shush people. I hate shushing from a comedian, right? You're not a teacher. You're there to encourage fun. You've got to direct their attention to you in a way that isn't so fucking prissy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, you lose them if you go, I mean, what, you know, you just do what was that? You know, so they realise you can hear them. That's
And
like, bring them in, and then like,
it's a compare's job to deal with them as much as you can. Like, obviously, you can't always settle them down, but like if there's a talky table, I'm talking to them, like you know, to be like, you know,
like what?
Yeah,
like what?
Yeah, yo,
where my crew at? Everybody in the 212.
Oh, This is so much fun.
It's good, isn't it? Like I love doing this, honestly, mate. And like you two, I would definitely love to have you back on at some point because
Anytime.
it's
I'm
a
not
laugh,
going
innit?
anywhere.
Like this is it. Like I really miss just chatting to funny people. Like my girlfriend's funny. Fucking hell, she's not watching. She couldn't give a shit. I could say whatever I fucking wanted. You will never watch this. Well, to be fair, her nan watched my comedy. Like when I met her nan. She's like, you swear too much. Like, fucking hell. It's not nan friendly. But you know, like we've done a fair while actually. We should probably wrap it up around now. But like before we go, like tell people about yourselves. We'll go around and like just plug anything you want to plug, whatever it is. Like Ange, tell them about yourselves, mate.
Well, I'm hosting News Quiz on Radio 4 at the moment, so that's it'll be on in about 20 minutes.
Oh, nice.
That's cool.
If you want to tune into that after this, so I'm doing that for the next few weeks, and then after that, I mean, who fucking knows? I was supposed to be going on tour in the autumn. Don't think that's going to happen now. But follow me on Twitter at Angela Barnes. And we'll see what happens next.
Yeah, and mate, thank you for telling that fucking gig story. I might clip that whole fucking thing out and fly because that is.
Please do.
Have you done that as material?
I have. It was the last 10 minutes of my Edinburgh show.
Oh,
My
yeah.
first
You did say
Edinburgh
that.
show
You did say that.
Yeah.
There you go. But like, it's what a fucking story. It deserves to be, mate. Absolute quality. Thank you so much for coming on. And yeah, I'll hit you up soon and like come back and do another one. And that'd be great.
Bloody love to, mate.
Awesome. And Ray, thanks for coming on, mate. Tell them about yourself.
Hi, my name's Ray. I'm 31. No, I don't really know what to say when you do that. My hobbies include going to the swimming pool. No. Get me on all Instagram, Twitter, all that at Comedy Ray. I'm meant to be in New Zealand right now, which is really depressing.
New Zealand Comedy Festival's really fun as well.
So for years I've wanted to do New Zealand Comedy Festival and Kilkenny Cat Laughs. And this month I was meant to be doing both. And now I'm doing fuck all.
Yeah.
So
you take them both. They're both awful. You'd have an awful time.
Literally the opposite of what everyone says.
Mate, I was meant to be watching Leeds United get promoted last week. Instead, I watched my girlfriend play Animal Crossing.
I'll be doing. You can watch my shows online, and I was made to be touring the end of this year, but I don't think I will be anymore.
Where are your shows, man?
You can watch the Sing Live show on Next Up and on Amazon Prime.
Nice, man.
Take your choice.
You can get a free Next Up trial. Have you got a code? I've got a code. Popular
use yours.
Is mine. There you go. Yours. I don't give a shit who uses it. Like, there you go. There's a free month. It's a code popular. Like,
there you go.
Like, I think maybe one person ever has signed up from my code. So you know,
I don't think I've ever. It's Next Up is really good though for shows. So
they're good people. Next Up, they are.
Yeah, they are really good people. They came to my show. I was one of the first ones they put up, and they came to my show, and I just thought it was someone chancing it for a freebie, so I turned them down at the start, and then I googled it, and I was like, oh no, this is a real thing. And then they've used, because my show's in sign language, they used it for tons of cool things. Like it was on a Virgin Atlantic flight for a bit and stuff.
That's it.
So they're nice people. They are
really good eggs at Next Up. Like I've got a show on there. Yeah, my old one, popular comedian Rob Mulholland. Like they're just good. They're good comedy loving folks, and you know, best of luck to them. I won't be putting any more of my specials on there because I like putting them on YouTube. But like, you know, nothing against Next Up. I think they're doing a brilliant thing, and I hope that they continue to flourish. Go watch Next Up. It's good. There's loads of sick shows on there, to be fair. I've watched some fucking awesome comedy on there. Like I genuinely have loved it.
Can I ask 2 questions before we finish?
Yes.
One, Rob, this one's to you, next one's to Angela. How many hats do you own?
That's all of them, I think.
How many is that?
8. Yeah, and growing.
Yeah, fair. Yeah. That's how heads work. Angela, on your right shoulder, what animal is that with all the... Is it an elephant? Is it a fell?
There, here.
Yeah, with the sausage dogs.
That's my dog when she was a puppy. Yeah, that's little Tina Belcher, the puppy. She's on my duvet, which has got sausage dogs in it. But yeah, she's a tiny little puppy.
So that's a picture?
Yeah. It's a photo, yeah.
So you can see
it was like craft or something.
No,
like
you can see the arse that got shaved with those clippers.
Yes, exactly.
And that's a full circle.
There we go. That is broadcasting, baby. That's how we fucking do it. So if you've enjoyed this show, thank you for watching this far or listening. If you're listening to the podcast podcast. There's been a ticker going along the bottom all the way. We're raising funds for the Trussell Trust. So if you've got any money, if you're still working...
do we not get paid for this?
What? No, you do not, Ray. No. If anything, you owe me money for this. So
I'm just doing it for exposure. I don't know about you.
This is going to really make your career bang, and I think this might be the thing. Fingers crossed for you, love. But if you've got any spare cash, chuck it to the Trussell Trust. They do really great work. They provide meals for people who desperately need them, and right now, obviously, people really need it. So help out if you can. If you've got no money though and you're skint, don't feel guilty, because I know poor people always do, and they're always the ones who are like, I wish I could afford to give. We're the ones we're trying to give to you. Fucking chill out, right? Just enjoy some free content. It doesn't have to be about taking money out your fucking pocket. But please like and subscribe to the channel, all that bullshit that everyone tells you at the end of a video. My stand-up comedy special, Too Big to Fail, will be linked in a second if you want to watch that. And I'll be back again on Monday. I don't think I've booked the show yet, so I don't know who's going to be on, but I bet it's bloody good. In the meantime, you guys, thanks so much for coming on. I've really loved this one. This has been loads of fun. This has been Livin La Vida Lockdown. We'll see you again.